Check out this headline. I do bare minimum Mondays at work to help beat the Sunday scaries and avoid burnout. It's completely changed my life and how I approach my job. I would actually take it a step further, and I actually do the do nothing work week. That's how I avoid burnout. Sunday all the way up until the next Sunday, just because I don't want to get scared. I don't want to get burned out. I just do the do nothing work week. I think that's the best way for me to truly engage in the work environment that surrounds us so much. This is real. This is not being posted by The Onion. This is the current state, I suppose, of corporate America, where it's better to go to TikTok and talk about how you don't like working on Monday
because you're just feeling a little sad.
In 2020, I worked in medical device sales. I was completely miserable and burned out. I thought the problem was my boss or the work culture in corporate America, so I quit my job and gave self-employment a whirl. I agree with that. Maybe corporate America is not right for you, and anyone who is kind of throwing their hat in the circle of entrepreneurship, I truly wish you the best of luck. I soon realized the issue was bigger than that. I had a hustle culture problem, a perfectionism problem. I don't know if I buy that people have a hustle culture problem. It's more of some people work harder and then other people work less hard, and then the people who are working less hard feel bad about the people who are working harder. Every week, the Sunday scaries would hit. And every Monday, I'd sleep in until the absolute last second because I knew that list was waiting for me. The pressure I was putting on myself was paralyzing, and I realized something had to change. And this is after they kind of started their own thing, which just tells me that maybe you're not in the right field. I'm doing this, and I work exponentially harder than I did when I was in corporate America, and I enjoy it way, way more. So if your psychological relationship with what you're doing is this negative, maybe you're just not doing the thing that you find enjoyment in. For me, like I said, I work exponentially harder, way more hours, way more across every important metric, and I enjoy it exponentially more as well. One day last March, I gave myself permission to do the absolute bare minimum of work, and it was like some magic spell came over me. I felt better, I wasn't overwhelmed, and I actually got more done than I expected. This just talks about balancing. Like, of course, no one's robotic where you're gonna work 24/7, nonstop. Yes, burnout is a very real thing. I'm not saying that it's not. I'm just saying that this is more of a like, hey, every single weekend, I don't wanna return to work, and that makes Mondays tough for me. It's kind of like if you're in that boat, maybe you just don't like your job. I've done bare minimum Monday every week since. On a bare minimum Monday, I don't take meetings and take it slow for the first 2 hours. I'll do some reading, some journaling, maybe some stuff around the house. It's 2 hours of no technology, no checking mail, just doing whatever I need to feel good starting my day. In all reality, that's what I do on Sundays. Like, this is kind of just like getting your life together outside of your very core work of whatever. You do your laundry, you clean up. I guess this person enjoys journaling, which, hey, if you want to. To me, that's how I use my Sundays. That's what I'm doing. That's almost just like my other prep work of things that should get done and I need to get done that I'm not going to do during my like normal core work hours. Around 10 or so, I let myself do whatever I want creatively. I could be shooting content or making visuals for my brand. It's work related, but I make sure it's creative work that I enjoy. For me, what I like to do every morning before I get ready for the work, so they say 10, I need to get ready a little bit earlier just because of the function of when the market opens, but that's when I like to cry in the shower. Like, I just cry horrifically, like a horrible, ugly, awful cry. It's just kind of creatively gets me stimulated for the day. I understand bare minimum Monday isn't realistic for everybody. Yeah, especially when people are paying other people because they don't want to hear that their employees are doing bare minimum Monday. I'm self-employed. I work from home. I'm not a mom. I at least respect this author for being a little bit more observant of their own position. This is not going to be realistic. Imagine going to your boss in corporate America and be like, you know what? Mondays are just not my vibe. I think your manager and or boss is going to have some pretty interesting words. It's just them. It's their business. So if they choose to do bare minimum Mondays, okay, it's their business that will either get success from it or maybe take a hit. But for anyone interested in trying it, pay attention to where you're putting unnecessary pressure on yourself or setting unrealistic expectations. If you know you won't have the time for something, don't put it on your list. Also, it's not a productivity hack. I get more done with easing the pressure, but I never meant for it to be a way to do more work. It's really a way to start the week prioritizing myself as a person over yourself as an employee. It's radically changed my life, not because of the productivity, but because of self-compassion. Sometimes there is burnout. I myself doing this endlessly. Yeah, I've hit burnout. And I think this is more of just maybe the title of it, Bare Minimum Monday. It has that harsh impact, but I think some of what this lady is saying is actually right. Probably some of it's valid, but I also would go on the other side of the argument and say there's sometimes where it is appropriate to burn the candle at both ends, as they would say. There are certain times, for many different reasons, your business is going to ebb and flow. And there are times where you can't do bare minimum Mondays. There are times where you're gonna have to do everything freaking every day because that's just what's going on. Not every week, not every day is gonna be built the same. So maybe there's times where things are a little bit slower and you could maybe take a little bit better psychological care of yourself, but maybe to get to yourself and your business to that next echelon, the next goal target that you've set, there's gonna be other times where you do nothing but work. And yeah, sometimes being in one of those phases for too long can be dangerous. So I wanted to share it. I think if anything, this particular article, there's good points. There's things that I do actually disagree with. But if anything, I think the headline is a little bit more jarring where like everyone's like getting their pitchforks right. And I'm like, that's the dumbest thing. You're lazy. When I think by the time you get to the end, the person is actually pretty realistic that it's appropriate for her in her circumstance and probably not appropriate for everyone.